Our first lesson in English 30 is the importance of writing competence. Before we move on to the discussion of the benefits of writing competence, let us first understand what writing is as a productive skill. Now, writing, just like speaking, is a productive skill. We use our productive skills to produce language. In contrary, reading, listening, and viewing, those skills highlighted in English 29, are a person's receptive skills. Receptive skills are those that we utilize to store or to receive information. We use receptive skills to understand information, may the information be written or spoken. Okay, so I hope you got that. Productive skills are the skills that we use to produce information, to produce messages, okay, using a particular language. On the other hand, receptive skills are those that we use to receive information and to, of course, understand them. Now, our ability to understand and produce messages using a certain language will be, of course, dependent on our competence. Okay, so let's now move on to the definition of the word competence. You can see from this slide the definition of the word competence. It is a noun, and it is defined as the ability to do something successfully or efficiently. So therefore, writing competence is a person's ability to write successfully or efficiently. You may be considered a competent writer if there are no grammatical lapses in your work, as well as misspelled words and missing punctuations. Okay, so that's the meaning of writing competence. Okay, it is the application of the skill of writing in a successful and efficient manner. Now that you know what writing competence is, let me ask you this question. Are you a competent writer? Most people would respond no to that question because they find writing difficult or challenging. In this slide, you can see two reasons why it is difficult to write. The first reason is that the ability to write involves the practice and knowledge of other communication skills. Okay, to give an example, when you were younger, you were eventually able to spell out short words and gradually move on to short sentences because you mastered the association between sounds and symbols. Okay, you were able to master the sounds of the letters in the alphabet. I am sure, very certain, that you would not have been able to write if you haven't mastered, okay, the sounds of the alphabet, okay, or the letters of the alphabet. So that's one good example for this reason, for this first item. Another example would be the connection between reading and writing. When I was teaching in high school, I had students who were quite fond of reading English novels. Okay, what I discovered was that these students who were fond of reading English materials, they were also very good in creating or constructing text which are written in English. Okay, so now if you would ask me for a tip on how to improve your writing skills, one tip that I would definitely give you is that if you want to improve your writing skills, read a lot of English materials. That is if you intend to write in English. Okay. Bullet number 2. Writing can be difficult because it taps on other skills. Yes, aside from the communication skills, writing also taps on metacognitive skills and cognitive skills. When you write, okay, you plan the objective, you plan the structure, you identify the audience for your material. Other than those things, you also analyze your resources, you summarize points, and so on and so forth. Okay, so you see, when you write, a lot of things happen in your head. Okay, and if you haven't sharpened enough some of those skills that you tap whenever you write, you might have a difficulty in expressing yourself through writing. Now, although writing can be challenging, we should not disregard it, of course, because it has benefits. Now, from the slide, you can see 7 of the benefits of writing according to Chappelle. First, it can help us express our personality. Okay, when we write who we are. Okay, through our choice of words, through our writing style. When we choose to publish, we can allow our readers to get a glimpse of who we are. Number 2 and 3, these two are connected. Through writing, we can still communicate. We can provide and receive feedback. For example, despite the distance, despite our inability to conduct face-to-face classes during this pandemic, we can still communicate. You can still communicate with your teachers, and we can still communicate with our students because there are platforms where we can write stuff and from where you can read instructions and materials. Numbers 4 and 5 are also related. Writing can help us develop our thinking skills, make us more logical, and become better presenters of our persuasive arguments. Okay, why is it so? Because when we write, we become critical of our thoughts. We evaluate our thoughts. Sometimes we re-evaluate them. Okay. As mentioned in the previous slide, we use our metacognitive and cognitive skills every time we write. So, when we write, definitely our thinking skills are honed or developed. Number 6, through writing, we are also given a chance to later reflect on our ideas and reevaluate them. Yes. So, when we write, we can always go back, okay? We can always revisit our work and improve it. Unlike in writing, when we speak, especially when it's an on-the-spot speaking event, we cannot sometimes take back what we have just said. Okay, but in writing, we can review our work, revise it, to improve it, so that when we present it, it will be more appealing or acceptable. Last one, through writing, we can prepare for school and employment. Yes, definitely. Okay, so the reason why you are already in college is because you were able to accomplish the writing tasks in high school. So, through writing, we can prepare ourselves for the tasks that we will or you will encounter in the academe or in the workplace. We write every day, and so even though you will already be soon done with your academic responsibilities, you can still expect writing tasks to be given to you in the workplace once you are employed. Now, even though writing has a lot of benefits, these benefits have not always been recognized. Okay? Actually, for a very long time in the past, people preferred speaking over writing. Okay? And writing was perceived to be an imperfect substitute for spoken language. However, eventually, especially after the Second World War, linguists started studying written language, and they devoted years of research on it. Today, writing is much more celebrated. Actually, anyone can publish. That is why you are seeing a lot of creative works on platforms such as Wattpad. Okay? However, okay, because of this recognition of writing, we also see many examples of poor writing skills in print and on the web. Okay? Now, despite their inability to competently write, okay, the reason why people write is because they want to express, and they also wish to showcase their creative side. Okay? In one of the studies that I have read, okay, it was found out, it was discovered that creative writing actually has a lot of benefits. And two of the benefits of creative writing is that it can aid language development, it can help a person improve his language use, and it can actually increase the motivation to write. Okay? Maybe some people write creatively or use free writing in order for them to feel more connected to a certain language. So if you want to improve your writing skills, perhaps you can start here. Okay, why not write something, or why not write about something that you love? Okay, explore your ability to write, and eventually you would be able to discover things about your writing skills. Okay, now, regardless of these advantages of creative writing, free and creative writing is not always applicable. You all know that. Okay, we cannot use creative writing in the workplace, for example, not unless it would be allowed. Aside from creative writing, we also have different styles of writing or different types of writing. We have academic and workplace or professional writing. Sometimes it's called business writing. Now, when we are expected to write academically or professionally, we cannot use our creative license. What's a creative license? So, a creative license is just like a permit. Okay, it's a freedom for you to tweak or to abuse grammatical rules, spelling rules, in order for you to express creatively. Okay? In the school setting and professional setting, poor writing skills can actually create poor first impressions. When you have a lot of grammatical lapses, when you have misspelled words and missing punctuations in your written output, such document may give the impression that you are not properly educated or that you are not worthy of a promotion, for example. Okay? Now, regardless of a person's inability to competently write, we should not worry, because writing is a skill. And being a skill, it can be learned and, of course, sharpened. Now, on this slide are my personal and practical tips on how you can sharpen your writing skills. My first tip is that you should write. Okay? Begin writing to express and to discover your writing style. I have mentioned in one of the slides that creative writing actually has a lot of benefits. And two of its many benefits is that it can improve or develop a person's language use, and it can also motivate a person to write even more. So, if you are someone who is still hesitant to write, I would suggest that you begin by writing about something that you are fond of, or write about something that you are very familiar of. And then after writing, tip number 2, ask someone to critique your work, have someone to read your work. However, this person should be someone who is also writing. Make sure that this person who would critique your work is someone who knows about the rules of a language, and he or she should also be someone who is a fan of writing. He or she should also be knowledgeable about the topic of your written material. Next, tip number 3. After receiving the feedbacks or the comments, strive to improve. Okay, set aside your ego. If the person would tell you that your writing sucks, okay, or you should improve on your writing, it's really bad. So don't take it personally, but instead strive to improve. One way of improving your work is number 4, review the basics. Okay, go get a grammar book and review the grammar or the rules of a certain language. If you are writing in English, you have to review subject-verb agreement, the uses of the basic prepositions. You have to know what parallelism is. You need to be aware of what comma splices are and how that one is different from run-ons and what else? And fragments, okay? And then number 5 is very important, okay? And I think that I have also mentioned this already. If you want to improve your writing skills, you have to read a lot. You cannot write about something if you do not know anything about it, okay? If say for example your teacher would ask you to write about the topic of veganism and you don't know much about it, how would you write about it? Or what things would you put in your material, in your written output? Nothing, because, or perhaps you would be able to write some things, but definitely they wouldn't suffice, okay? When you read, you get to store a lot of new information in your head, and these prior knowledge would come out when you do metacognition, okay? Do you still remember that term? When you write, you tap on your metacognition skills, and your metacognition skills rely on your prior knowledge. If you don't have much prior knowledge, okay, if you don't have enough prior knowledge about a certain thing, that particular skill won't work effectively. So read a lot. Read. Reading can also improve your vocabulary, okay? You will get to know about unfamiliar words, and you might be able to use those unfamiliar words eventually in your written outputs. Reading can also expose you to the different writing styles of authors, and through that exposure, you can also apply what you have observed from their styles to your own writing style. Okay, so these are my 5 practical tips on how you can improve your writing skills. So first is you must write, okay? And then after writing and after reviewing your work, it would be best to, number 2, have someone to critique your work. And then number 3, after receiving feedback, set aside your ego and strive to improve. Number 4, review the basics. And then number 5, if you want to exhale, there is this saying, reading is just like inhaling while writing is exhaling. So if you want to exhale, okay, a lot of things you have to inhale, okay? You have to absorb things through reading so that you will have a lot to say about a certain topic when you write. Okay, so now before I end this presentation, I just would like to recap through these points the benefits of competent writing or writing competence. Okay, of course, if you have writing competence, you already are a competent writer. So, the benefits of being a competent writer are the following. First, you can relay information swiftly and effectively. And if you are a person who replies this way, you can help avoid the miscommunications. Next, bullet number 2. Another benefit is that you can help build rapport, okay, with your readers. Okay, even though you don't see one another physically, okay, you don't have physical contact, you cannot see each other, through competent writing, you can build very good relationships. Number 3, competent writing or writing competence can also give a person a professional impression. Okay, if you are a good writer, you can also use that, or people can identify that as a plus point for example promotion. Okay, they can actually assign you to tasks which would require competent writing. Okay. Next, last but not least, a competent writer is of course a great communicator, and if you are a great communicator, you have this potential to make the world a better place. Okay, so I hope that you would strive and do your best to improve your writing skills so that you would soon be able to claim yourself as a competent writer. Okay, so that is the end of the lesson. If you want to know more about this topic, you may check out these references which are available online.